Assalamualaikum and hi. Today our group will present about health and safety environment group assignment, and the accident that our group chose is about bunga alpinia vessel exploration in Labuan. So our group consists of 4 members. The first one is me, Izatu Umaira from IS. The second one is Adam Hydrid from IT. The third one is Kausan from IT, and the last one is Haika, Putri Haika from BBM. On 26 July 2012, a fire on board caused an explosion at MT Bunga Alpinia at 2:30 AM near to Pulau Inu Industrial Zone Labuan. MT Bunga Alpinia is a vessel chemical tanker owned by Malaysia International Shipping Corporation. The tanker have been struck by lightning. There was a leak at the oil tanker and the weather was very bad during the time of the accident. The explosion had killed 5 crew of the oil tanker, comprising 4 Malaysian and a Filipino. Next, we move to our first part, details about the victim for this unfortunate incident. The first one is Syahrir Azmi bin Baharudin. The second one is Mama Nazrin bin Kamsani. The third one is Khalid bin Hanafi. And the fourth one is Zahari bin Hashim. All of them is from Malaysia, and the last victim in Kolanga, Kalaluan Arrow from Philippines. And other 24 crewmen was reported safe from the accident.
A 38-watt chemical tanker Bunga Alpinia was almost destroyed by a fire and explosion. The impact of the explosion had shaken some of the facilities, including SBS power plant control room damage. The fire was said to have raged for 18 hours on board the vessel, Petronas Maternal Jetty at Pulau Eno, Labuan. The incident happened when a chemical tanker was hit by a fire owned by Petronas subsidiary MISC. Reported that fire occurs during flashes of lightning.
Hello everyone, I'm Kelson Woon from Information Technology. I'm going to explain the recommendation part for the explosion of MT Bunga Alpinia in Sabah. First of all, this is the table for prioritized action with responsibilities and targets for completion. These are the roles and responsibilities of each role to ensure that they are able to improve the safety of their workplace. Health and safety for both employees and employers. We have provided 5 methods which are create an emergency plan so that they are able to know what to do when discover a fire in their workplace. The second one is create fire escape routes so they may escape to fire safety place with clear signs, calm and safely. The third one is no fire extinguisher in workplace so they can use it correctly. They put out the fire. The fourth one is train employees and employers in fire safety so they can prevent and overcome fire problems in their workplace. And the last one is practicing good housekeeping. Flammable materials are always danger as it will cause fire and explosion in workplace. So they will be more cautious of flammable materials to prevent any ignition that will lead fire and explosion in their workplace by cleaning them. So for the next table, which is the risk assessment that include hazard, risk level, causes and action to minimize the risk. Although in the explosion of MT Bunga Alpinia, hazards that occur are ignition, fire and explosion hazards, but the risk assessment still need to be reviewed as we did some research and classified more hazards that might occur in the workplace for the risk assessment, such as ergonomic hazards, workers slip and fall, and falling object that hits workers.
For potential consequences, what was the worst that could have happened? The explosion was caused by gas tank leakage, which could have spread to a larger area, and it could cause more explosions due to the contents of the facility which are highly flammable. What prevented the worst from happening? The emergency response team acted quickly and deployed fire engines and firefighters to the scene. How often could such an event occur? The so-called recurrence potential. After the accident, facility improvements and training were done to reduce the risk of human error and system failure in the future. So the recurrence potential are very minimal. What was the worst injury or damage that could have resulted? Firstly, carbon dioxide has escaped to thin air that has caused air pollution. Secondly, the damage that could have been done was that the facility could have been completely destroyed. How many people could the event have affected, which is the population potential? More staff could have been injured or died had the event happened during operating hours.
So what are the workplace act and regulation related to the incident? Workers who use hazardous chemicals during work processes might be exposed to hazardous. The degree of potential hazard depends on individual chemical properties and toxicity. All employers must have labels and safety data sheets for the exposed workers and train them to handle the chemicals appropriately. By establishing effective engineering controls and work practice can reduce potential worker overexposures. And also, this relevant to OSHA and national consensus standard applicable to these hazards. The relevant industry practice documents applicable to this hazard including Association of Energy Service Companies AESC, EC 600 Hazardous Communication Compliance Guide. Next, Regulation for Chemical Handling, which is Regulation 14 to Regulation 19 of the Occupational Safety and Health Use Standard of Exposure of Chemical Hazards to Health. Regulation 2000, here and after I refer to the regulation which stipulates the duty of the employer to take action to control chemical hazards to health through the progressive application of control measures in the order of elimination, substitution, isolation, process modification, engineering control, safe work procedure, and personal protective equipment which can produce the exposure level to the employees to the lowest practicable level.
Next, we move to obligation and responsibility of employees and employees related to incident. Employees should provide well-designed PPE for their employee. Prior to beginning any outdoor work, employees and supervisors should check NOAA weather reports and radio forecasts for weather hazard. OSHA recommend that employees consider rescheduling jobs to avoid workers being caught outside in hazardous weather conditions. Employers should have a written emergency action plan. The EAP should include a written lightning safety protocol for outdoor workers. The lightning safety protocol should inform supervisors and workers to take action after receiving any other warning sign of approaching thunderstorm. Indicate how workers are notified about lightning safety warning and identify location and requirement for safe shelters. Next is indicate response time necessary for all workers to reach safe shelter, and employers should also post information about lightning safety at outdoor website. Employers should indicate train all workers on lightning safety. Next is for the employee. As a worker, you have a legal right to already know from the employer about OSHA standard worker injuries and illness, job hazard, and workers' right. To have a training from your employer on chemical you are exposed to during your work and information on how to protect yourself from harm. Register of accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and occupational diseases under JKKP 8. Use work permit given by the company or any PPE that has been provided by employers. Employees should be trained on how to follow the EAP that included lightning safety procedures.